All right, bro. So you want to move to Thailand as a freelancer, but before you do, there are a couple things that you do want to take into account, or you might end up completely regretting your move when it could have been like smooth sailings, right? So that's what this video is going to be about. I'm going to talk about everything that you need to know when it comes to visas, when it comes to like the cost of living, where to live, what to look out for when looking for a place, everything, literally everything. But before I do, you may be wondering who the hell is this dude and why are you even talking about Thailand? So my name is Balman Valk, and I actually moved to Thailand, Phuket, when I made my first $10,000 online with freelance copywriting. Then after 1 year, I ended up moving to Bangkok for 1.5 years, and I'm actually going back in September. And over these, 2.5 years, I've learned a lot of stuff about being there and also going back and forth. But yeah, basically, I've made a lot of mistakes that could have been easily avoided, and that's why I'm making this video, because I know a lot of you guys that are making some online money or are planning on making some online money. First choice is typically go to Thailand, and I agree. But let's talk about these things first, okay? And by the way, if you are still looking to get more clients and to build up that reliable online income, then I have a community for exactly that, not just in terms of like, how to get your first testimonials, how to get your first $1,000, how to get your first $10,000. Not only all about that, but also genuinely like an accountability system and group that will make it essentially impossible to get you there. Well, if you actually use it. There's a free 7-day trial, so if you want to check that out, link is in the description. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So I'll be sharing screen and just go over the document just because I don't want to forget anything, because every single piece of information is so important. So I don't want to skip over everything. So I just have everything written down and I'll just get into depth with every single point. Okay. All right, cool. So introduction, already talked about that, right? But let's first talk about the money reality, right? Because personally, I had the impression back when I was making like a couple thousand a month freelancing, I really had the impression that I could only move to Thailand when I was making $10,000 consistently per month, right? And that's not the case. That is not the case. Genuinely, from what I've seen and what I've done, I know that when you have like 1,000 euros monthly income, stable monthly income, um, you can live in Thailand, right? You can comfortably live in Thailand. Not even just live, you can comfortably live in Thailand, right? The reason why I thought that way was because I was, way more lavish in my spending, but, knowing now, having gone through that entire phase, I know that, 1,000 euros in Thailand, Bangkok is more than enough. I do recommend you have 1,000 euros in savings as well, because other reasons that I'll talk about in the rest of the video as well. But yeah, you do need 1,000 euros in savings. Obviously, the more savings you have, the better. But I would say 1,000 euros in savings is minimum. But the only thing that I will say is that the 1,000 euros per month needs to be stable. If you're making 1,000 euros 1 month and then 200 euros the next month, don't make the move. You're not ready. You need to have at least a stable income of 1,000 euros per month, or bro, you'll get in trouble, right? You won't be able to pay your rent if something happens, if you have a visa issue or something, or if you need to pay someone off. I don't know how else to say it, but if you need to pay someone to get something done, you won't be able to do it and you'll get in trouble, right? So make sure you have a stable income, right? And then, of course, like I said, the savings is for emergencies. Also, keep in mind if something happens and you need to go back to where you live, so you're able to pay for the flight and everything. But literally, that's all you need. You don't really need more. If someone does tell you that you need more, maybe they're just like extra conservative, which I already consider myself as. But yeah, if you're like careful with your spending and if you're going to follow all the advice that I'm going to give you in this video, then 1,000 euros per month is more than enough. Now, what is it really like to live in Thailand? Just kind of like to give you a picture, because to a lot of people, if you mention like Bangkok, like, oh my God, you're gonna move to Bangkok, like, oh, I've heard of like human trafficking and stuff. It's completely fine, bro. Like, it's so safe. And I'm from Belgium, right? It's way safer than Belgium, right? So I have a girlfriend, and when she is out at night, I'm like very, very relaxed, right? If she takes a cab by herself, I'm very, very relaxed. I mean, of course, there's some situations you do need to be responsible, but overall, bro, like it's so safe. Like the chances of someone harassing her or anything in Bangkok are so much lower than if she were to like be walk over street late at night in Antwerp or something, right? I'm not comfortable with my girlfriend walking over street like in Western countries, Western capital cities. I'm not comfortable. In Bangkok, I'm so comfortable. So that is an absolute lie. One other thing that you'll notice in Bangkok is that the lifestyle is so convenient. You have everything at your fingertips. There's an app for everything. The distribution of everything is just it's so convenient, right? It's like a lot of people say this about Dubai as well. Bangkok is actually the exact same, but it's just less luxurious, let's say. But it's so convenient, man. You have food, you have transportation is solid, like you have everything you need, man. And by the way, if I'm like pulling my nose or anything, is because I have a cold, so don't worry about that. Next thing is like cheap rent with luxury level facilities, 100%, man. Like literally the last condo that I had with my girlfriend was like, sure, it was not like a super big condo or anything, but bro, it was super clean. It was modern. We had everything that we needed, and we had like amazing facilities, bro. We had an amazing lobby. Like I cannot tell you, like I've had like very long nights of work in that lobby because the lights stayed on. But also, like, we had a solid gym. We had like an entertainment room. We could like play ping pong or whatever. They had like a very, very nice looking pool as well, and like an upstairs area where you could also train or just, get some sunlight, you have some grass. There's like a movie room as well. There's like so much stuff, bro. And this was all for like 600 euros, less than 600 euros per month, right? Absolutely insane. Because I know like in Belgium, bro, you pay like at least you don't even have that here. You don't even have that. You get like an apartment, kind of like a kind of half-assed apartment that you need to renovate yourself, and no facilities, and you pay like more than 1,000 euros per month. Anyway, so that's when it comes to like luxury. Sorry, when it comes to like the rent, and I'll talk about like more things that you should look out for when finding accommodation, especially long-term accommodation. The people there are extremely nice. They don't steal. They're super honest. Like I even remember in Phuket, which is like a lot more like money hungry. But bro, if you like get your clothes to like a washing lady, and she finds like 50 euros in your pocket, she will literally like put it in a little plastic bag and like attach it to the clothes, and she would just give it right back. They're extremely honest. Like I even remember when my mom came to visit in Phuket, we went to like the big Buddha because it was like right across the street from us. And the first thing that she said was like, "What? You don't have to pay?" Right? It was so odd to her. Like we could just enter and like see these like massive monuments, very, very like important, and we don't have to pay anything, right? And the same thing if you go to like the park, Banjakiti Park, well, which I'll talk about in a bit. Like you can like do canoeing. You don't have to pay. It's just free. I was just so weirded out. I like pull out my money, and she was like, no, 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 no pay. And I was like, really? It's just so weird. But yeah, there's a ton of stuff that you just don't have to pay for. People are so nice. I think it's great. You can also like play badminton for free. Like, bro, it's actually pretty great. Next thing is that it is a great place to build, in my opinion. So you, as a freelancer, and not necessarily making 10, 20, 30, 50K yet, but you're making some money, you're making some moves. I think this is a great place to go and build. The only thing that you have to avoid is like don't go to like the don't go to the prostitutes, don't get into like drug related stuff, don't go to the weed places, because I know that exists, but just like you don't have to go there, right? Just stay on track, follow all the advice that I'll give in this video, and you'll be solid, bro. Just avoid all that stuff, okay? And just remember why you came there in the first place. Don't lose focus. Focus on yourself, focus on building your business, getting a stable income, and yeah, building your character, bro. Like building who you are. And don't forget about that. So yeah, now that we've talked about like what it really is, what it's really like, let's talk about some common pitfalls. And there's a lot of them. So To be honest, I can literally just, I'll attach this document in the description, so you don't have to like take notes or anything. You can literally just reference it. But let's go over this, okay? So common pitfalls, we have visas, right? So when you arrive, especially if you're like American or you come from like a European country, you will just get a visa on arrival for 60 days. But keep in mind that this can change, right? Thailand changes their laws according the visas quite often. Like every couple of months there may be like a change. I remember when I first came it was like 45 days, then it was 30 days, and then it was 60 days again. So this does change. So just, do some research before you go so you know what's up. But for now, it's 60 days. And then after the 60 days, you can go to immigration and then you can get a 30-day extension. And you may think, like, oh my God, like, are they not gonna, like, you know, be hard on me, whatever? Like, no, they don't care. The hardest part is at the airport. That's where they're like actually like pretty strict with you. But once you're in Thailand, like, they don't give a shit, right? Okay, you're here, cool, come here, give me the money, boom, like you get your extension. It's all good, right? And then after that, if you're not necessarily planning on staying long term, then, or it's your first time coming here, then it's fine. You can do a border run to like Laos, right? And normally I would say Cambodia, because typically they do border runs to Cambodia, but right now it's like there's a little dispute going on. So I wouldn't try that. Just do a border run to Laos. There's like a bunch of agencies that like they go every single day with like a bus. You just go there to the location in the morning. You pay the fee. You fill in the forms. You sit on the bus. They drive you across the border. You get your stamps. You come back, and then you just get back into the bus and you're good, right? And you're good for another 60 days. And then even after that, you can get another 30 days extension, right? But, but after that, I do not recommend like running this thing over and over and over again. I do not recommend it. If you plan to stay longer than 6 months, I genuinely just recommend you get a Muay Thai visa, right? There's also ED visas, right? But since you're working and since your main goal is to like build up your income, it'll serve you more to have a Muay Thai visa. I mean, of course, this is a big part of the culture. You'll become stronger. You'll actually learn how to strike, how to kick. It's very, good for you. But you'll be able to stay in the country legally, right? Without fucking up your passport, because that is a big mistake that I made. I got very lazy with my passport, and it's not even just that I didn't want to pay for the long-term visa or anything. It's just that I didn't think about it. I was very lazy about it, and then when the dates came close, it was like, oh fuck, okay, yeah, I need to do the visa. Let me just do another extension. Let me just do another border run, etc., etc. And the reason why I kind of had to was because you need time before your visa kicks in. So even when you apply for a Muay Thai visa, you actually already need to apply for it when you get another extension or when you get another 60-day visa, right? Because it takes time for it to process, for them to get the letter of Ministry of Education, et cetera, et cetera. So it takes some time. So you need to do it beforehand. So that's why I was always like lazy, like, let me just do another border run, et cetera, et cetera. But now, what's the problem? I have an entire passport filled with fucking stamps, and every time when I come there, they want to send me back, right? So please don't follow my mistakes. Just get a long-term visa. And actually, if you have like 15K USD in your bank for the past 6 months, yeah, 6 months, just DM me on Instagram. You can get a DT visa. I can recommend you some agencies and stuff, so you can get that sorted pretty easily. But yeah, it's just like a lot harder to get the DTV visa, right? One thing though that you do need to be careful with is that when you first come to Thailand, you need to have an exit ticket, right? So you can't just come there and be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna stay here for 60 days and then I'm gonna see, we'll see what happens. Like, no, no, no. You're getting a 60-day tourist visa and then you need to leave, right? Now, you don't actually have to leave, but you do need to have proof that you will exit the country or you plan to exit the country, right? So typically, what I do is I just book a ticket either back to Belgium, or you can book a ticket like to Vietnam or whatever. And then after immigration, if needed, you can cancel it, right? If you're getting like an ED visa or whatever. Or even if you're not, if you're just like gonna go for the extension, then you can cancel it or reschedule it, whatever. And the way I do it, like specifically, please DM me on IG. because it's better for me to explain that there than here. But yeah, that's an important part, because they're probably going to ask you like, how long are you staying in Thailand, right? And you better be ready for these questions, because when you kind of stutter or when you're not sure or whatever, they're going to be more suspicious and they're going to ask you more questions, right? So if you're prepared and you answer the questions very directly, very confidently, then you're not going to have a problem. But if they ask you like, so how long do you plan to stay in Thailand, and you're like, I don't know, like how long is the visa again, then they're already thinking like, this guy has not booked a ticket. He's just gonna like roam around here. He's just gonna stick around for another year doing tourist visas. They already know how this goes, right? So make sure you know when your flight ticket is going back, and then just be like, yeah, I'm going back to my country in a couple weeks. This is when I fly back, or I'm flying to Vietnam in a couple weeks, but first I want to like experience Thailand, see what it's like, visit some friends, etc., etc. Make sure that you are already prepared for that, right? Yeah, and that's basically it. Yeah, like I said, don't mess up your passport. And also, like, because they know, right? It's not because you get a new passport or because you have a double passport in other nationality, like I have, because I have two passports. It's not because you have that suddenly they don't know that you went there. Like, no, everything is on your fucking fingerprints, right? They know that you were there, so they can see all your records. So even if you get a clean passport, it doesn't matter. They see everything in the computer, right? So don't try to be smart, because you're just going to piss them off and they're going to want to send you back, right? And I'm talking from firsthand experience. Now, that is everything when it comes to the visa. I think it's pretty clear. Now let's talk about accommodation. Now, the first thing that I would say is never sign a 1 year lease. It's stupid. That is what I did. And the reason why is because you're not 100% sure if you're actually going to stay there long term, and you're not sure if this is the right place for you, right? You need to actually kind of experience Thailand to know what areas you like, what you don't like, and if you even want to stay there in the first place, right? Because maybe you'd be like, 3 months is kind of enough for me, so let me just go back, right? But if you sign a 1 year lease, then you're going to lose your entire deposit. So don't do that. That is what happened to me, and it's very, very ugly. So never sign a 1 year lease unless you're absolutely certain that you're going to stay there long term. But honestly, don't do it. Don't do it. Just get a 3 months lease at first in the beginning, or get Airbnb, right? In the beginning. In the beginning, you need to know what's up first. You need to kind of like experience it, know if you actually want to stay long term. So 3 month lease, or get an Airbnb in the beginning. Yes, an Airbnb is a little bit more expensive, but bro, like making the mistake of picking the wrong place is even more expensive in the long term, right? Or like you can also like get a 6 month contract, but don't do more than that. It's just stupid. Don't do it, right? Another thing that I really recommend is that you rent a place that is fully furnished. So make sure that the bedding is already there, make sure the cushions are already there, make sure the plates are there, pans are there, everything to cook, cleaning tools, make sure everything is already in there, because otherwise you're going to have to spend, 1,000 euros actually furnishing the place yourself, which is fucking stupid, right? So there's tons of places that are already furnished there. So just make sure to pick the right ones, okay? And when you go look for the places, or this is actually something that I didn't include here, but when you come to Thailand, don't go for a place, don't pay a deposit unless you've actually been there and seen it with your eyes. So when you come here, or can you come to Bangkok, first get an Airbnb for a couple days, or stay with a friend, right? If you have a friend in Bangkok, make sure to stay with them. Otherwise, just get a cheap Airbnb, cheap hotel, whatever, and like you can already book for to go look for places before you fly, right? So you can be efficient. You can have like 3, 4 bookings in one day, and then just choose the best one. That's absolutely possible. I've done it before, so you can definitely do that. But yeah, don't pay for something that you haven't seen with your own eyes. It's just stupid. So yeah, that's something that I didn't include. That's very important. But yeah, make sure the place is fully furnished. And then another couple things that are very important is to make sure that it's close to a BTS station, right? This is a mistake that I made, and I'll talk about other stuff as well, which is why this is so important. But make sure your place is close to the BTS station. And what is the BTS station? It's essentially the SkyTrain, right? It's extremely fast. It's extremely cheap. But if you have to walk like half an hour to get to the station, then you're never going to use it and you'll lose out on all the benefits from it. So make sure your place is like 5 minutes at most 10 from the BTS station, right? Could be any BTS station, by the way. I'll talk about some good places where, I prefer living, but, it's up to you. Obviously, make sure that there's good Wi Fi. Ideally, ask when you go look for places if the lobby has good Wi-Fi, because if the lobby, is amazing but it has shit Wi-Fi, then what the fuck are you gonna do there? Cannot do anything. Then you'll need to do it from your 4G, which is not necessarily the best. So make sure there's good Wi-Fi. Another thing that is very, very important for freelancers, for you guys, is make sure there is a good place to have sales calls or client calls and community calls, right? So especially for me right now, I'm just running community calls, right? And some client calls as well, but and company calls. I have a lot of calls, but if you want to do sales calls, obviously you want a quiet environment and you want an environment that actually like looks attractive, right? If you have like if your environment just looks fucking poor, then it's already going to be hard for you to close anyone. Plus, if there's like people in the background like walking through, little kids playing around and stuff, that's just terrible. So make sure you find a place where you have a good place to have calls, okay? That is very, very important if you want to make money, right? Now, the last thing, it's not necessarily like a prerequisite, but I do recommend it, that the place has a decent gym. Although there are good gyms like Jets in Thailand as well, but yeah, personally, I'm very much, maybe now a little bit less, but if you really need to and you need to be like on a budget, like don't go to the gym and just use your condo gym, right? If you really, really enjoy going to like the external gym and like you love to meet people and stuff like that, then by all means just go to the gym. But if you can, I would genuinely just find a good gym in your condo and then just use that, right? You'll save a ton of money. You'll save a ton of time as well, since if you're a freelancer and you're building up, then I assume that your time is extremely valuable. So yeah, I recommend you take that into account. Okay, so that's as far as it goes to like accommodation. And by the way, if there's any questions surrounding anything like this, please put them in the comments, okay? And I'll respond to every single one of them. Now, let's look at health, right? Because I think a lot of people don't think about this, but fuck, this is so important. Your health, right? Make sure before you go to Thailand to get a travel or health insurance. Personally, I have that through my bank. So basically, this is like when you have like an accident, like a bike accident or something, your insurance will actually cover the costs up to like, I don't know, like big amounts. It depends how much you pay, but I think it's like I pay like, I don't know, 50 euros a year, 100 euros a year, and they cover up to like 250,000 euros or something. Maybe I'm talking out of my ass. Please double check, but it could be different for you. But yeah, I just run mine through my bank, and it's pretty simple. But just make sure you have it before you go, right? Because yeah, Thailand is very different when it comes to like health. Because here in the West, we just like we go to the doctor's office, like, oh, I have this sickness, blah blah blah, and they just like give you a prescription. You go to the pharmacy, you get your prescription. Maybe you pay like 20 euros, but you get it back. So basically, like almost healthcare is almost free here. But in Thailand, for foreigners, it's not like that. You will actually pay a lot of money if you have a problem, right? Bro, I remember like, especially if you need to get like x-rays or if you need to get like an MRI, you will fucking pay yourself to death for that. I remember I had like a concussion um, from boxing. So be careful with that as well. But I had a concussion, and my friends actually they brought me to the hospital, and they got me an MRI just to make sure I didn't have anything. But it ended up costing like 500 euros or something, right? And I didn't get anything of that back because especially when it comes to fighting, your insurance is not going to cover fighting, right? Especially if it's self-inflicted. So fighting is not included in the insurance, so be careful. But like accidents and stuff like that, stuff you have no control over, then yeah, your insurance covers it. But yeah, be careful. But also when you have like a sickness or like a weird rash or something like that, like and you need to go to the hospital because there's no like doctor's offices like there are in the West. It's just the hospital, right? You just go to the hospital. and they'll treat you there. But bro, you'll pay so much money. Just so be careful. Make sure you just take care of your health. Make sure you sleep enough so that you don't get these stupid issues, and you'll be saving a ton of money, right? Yeah, and even when you have insurance, right? In the beginning, you will still have to pay upfront. It's just because it's not necessarily the case that your insurance in your home country and Thailand are already in contact, right? What's the more likely scenario is that you will have to pay for it upfront in Thailand, or you're gonna have to like wait for the treatment or whatever, and then you'll have to contact your insurance to like get the money back, right? So yeah, be very careful when it comes to like your health. Now let's talk about motorbikes. I personally recommend you do not drive, right? Don't drive the motorbike. That is my advice. Yeah, because even when you are a good driver or you're careful, like other people are not, right? Let me give you a fun fact about Thailand, bro. Because everyone always talks about like, oh, like the traffic is absolutely insane, and it's true. People drive like maniacs there, but the reason why is because a lot of people either they don't have their license at all, or they got their license just from like just paying a fee and they got their license, right? Or maybe they like did a little bit of driving and like, oh yeah, cool, you're good, like here's your license, bro. They didn't have sufficient training, they don't know how to drive safely. So it's a liability, right? It's very, very dangerous, obviously, not just in terms of like financial costs, but also like your fucking life, bro. So you're a young dude, you have so much potential. Don't waste it just because you want to drive the bike and feel cool, because that is what I did. And for a long time, I was fine, right? I was fine. However, then it was a couple months when I was driving the bike. I was completely fine, right? But a couple months I was driving the bike, and then I just went to the mall late at night with my girlfriend, and everything was fine. We go back to our place. It was like around 10, 11 p.m. And yeah, dude, like I was just driving, and suddenly from like the other side of the road, because one road goes like this and then the other road goes like this, right? But there was like one intersection kind of, and there was like one car, a big ass car that was like seemingly making a U-turn, right? He was making a U-turn, so I already like go to the side, right? Because otherwise I'm gonna hit it. But then what happens is it actually fucking crosses us, right? So it just crosses the road without stopping or anything. And he just didn't see us. He didn't see us. So um, luckily, because I already went a little bit to the side, I was able to kind of like go beside the car, but I hit the front. And bro, all I could think about in that moment was like, what the fuck? This cannot be happening. This cannot be happening. Like literally, because I never imagined that it would happen to me. But I hit the front of the car, and immediately we got lifted off the bike, me and my girlfriend. I hit like a lantern on the sidewalk. Like the entire lantern was like made of stone. It's completely broken. I hit my hip. And my girlfriend was even worse because she didn't hit anything. So she just like flew on the sidewalk and just, and she didn't have any like long pants on or long sleeves. So she had like a bunch of wounds, like flesh wounds on her legs, right? So I like, thank God, like that I look at her and she was alive, right? So thank God in that moment. But I could see the flesh wounds on her leg. I could see like the wound on like on the side of her head and everything. And bro, um, yeah, I never drove the bike after that anymore, right? Um, yeah, I never drove the bike anymore. I went one time on like a grab bike and I was so uncomfortable, um, that I didn't do it anymore. So what I recommend you do is live close to the BTS station, live close to the SkyTrain, and just get used to using it, right? Your life is everything. Don't take it for granted, um, because other people, because of their stupid mistakes, you can lose it, or more importantly, someone you love. Like for me, like if my girlfriend was dead, that was my fault, right? That was absolutely my fault, um, because it's my responsibility. So I recommend you don't drive at all and just use the SkyTrain. Just make sure you live close to it and get used to it, right? Personally, me as well. I'm a workaholic, right? I love to work and I love to be fast and I don't like to waste time and everything. But yeah, this is something else, man. And if you need to learn the hard way, then I mean that's unfortunate. But If for some reason you do need to go on the bike, maybe you like take a grab bike or something. If you take grab bikes and you don't drive yourself, make sure you get a helmet of your own, right? Because the helmets they're going to give you are fucking shit and probably not even worth wearing in the first place. So if you're going to use grab bikes, get your own helmet. They're not expensive. They cost like 10 euros, 15 euros max, and it can save your life. Okay. So buy a damn helmet. And also wear long sleeves. Wear long sleeves like a sweater. I know it's hot, but damn it, like it'll save you so much fucking flesh wounds and scars and everything. Um, so yeah, just make sure you wear long pants, wear um, long sweaters, and make sure you wear shoes. Right? Don't go on the bike with slippers. Okay, like you can. The chances of you like ripping off a toe or anything is so much bigger if you do that. So yeah, I know I'm going very hard on like don't drive the bike, but truly like bro, things are more important than driving the bike, okay? Now, that's already everything about motorbikes. Now let's talk about like lifestyle setup, okay? So the neighborhoods that I recommend like looking for a condo is, and this is obviously biased because I used to live in Ekamai and I actually really enjoyed it in Ekamai. My girlfriend as well. So you have Prakanong, Ekamai, and Tonglor. Those are, in my opinion, the best ones. Why? Because even though the center is extremely accessible from there, especially if you live close to the BTS. However, it's like not in the center, so it's a lot cheaper, right? So, for example, especially Prakanong, you can pay a lot cheaper prices for like very good facilities, very good apartments, and you have like very easy access to BTS to go to the center, right? Or to go to like more busy places like Asok or Prompong. People that have been in Thailand will know what I mean, but yeah, I recommend those areas. Plus, it's something that I also recommend. And of course, when you live near a BTS, it's a lot easier for you. But since I come from like a Western country, I love to see nature. I love to see green, and unfortunately, in Thailand, Bangkok, there's not that much of it, right? So I love to go to like Benjakiti, which is like one of their parks, like once a week or something, because they have like water, a lot of trees, like an entire park and everything. You can like play badminton. You can like train calisthenics there and everything. A lot of people go there to run as well. So I really recommend going there as well. But if you live near a BTS station, then you should be good. Okay. Now let's talk about food and cooking. So personally, I recommend cooking if you can, but mostly if you have a girlfriend or if you can already cook, right? So if your cooking sucks and you don't have a girlfriend that lives with you, then I actually recommend you just get street food. Um, because a lot of Thai people they actually don't cook. They just go outside to eat, and there's like a bunch of like places with like these seats, right? You'll see a lot of these places, and you can get food there for like so damn cheap, right? Yes, like I know people will tell me like, bro, but seed oils and you need to get enough protein and stuff like that. The protein thing is easily solved with protein shakes. I mean, I'm talking me personally, right? This is what I would do. I would literally just go there to eat once a day because I just eat one meal a day, and the rest would just be protein shakes, right? But that's me, right? If you want to, spend more money on cooking and stuff, I mean, it'll be kind of the same, to be honest with you. Everywhere they're using seed oil, so it doesn't even matter if you go to the cheap places or to more expensive places. They're gonna use seed oils anyway. So yeah, that's what I recommend because that is a mistake that I made. Like, I mean, maybe it's personal preference, but I remember when we were like doing 20K months with the agency, and we were so stupid when it came to like money because we got really like drawn into like the biohacking space and like, bro, you need to like have filtered water, you need to have like water from glass bottles, and you need to like you know only eat steak and stuff like that. And yeah, I think it's stupid. I think it's stupid. Maybe if you like genuinely make like 20K profit, right? Not 20K revenue, because we were making 20K revenue, not profit. But if you're making 20K profit, then maybe you can talk, right? But in your position, very likely, like you're not in a position to like go all in on your food, right? Just be humble, eat your damn seed oils. If you can avoid them, obviously do. Like I'm not cooking with seed oils at home, right? But I'm just telling you what I would do if I didn't have a girlfriend. Then this is what I would do, right? Plus, bro, it's so cheap. But if you want to cook at home, then I recommend going to Macro for your meats and your eggs and your main things, right? And then some other things you'll have to get from like Max Value or Lotus, right? Because they don't have everything at Macro. But that's going to be the cheapest thing. And obviously, like buy in bulk, um, buy frozen stuff. You know, it's the cheapest thing. But yeah, that's what I recommend when it comes to food, right? Now let's talk about transportation. Okay. I already talked about this. I don't recommend driving the bike. What I recommend is just always using the BTS and walking, right? It's cheap, it's reliable, it's safe, it's fast. Like, just make sure you live close to a BTS station. Um, and bro, you're gonna have smooth sailings, right? But yeah, I don't think I need to go deeper into this. It's extremely straightforward. Just I just don't recommend driving a bike, to be honest. But yeah, that's how it is. Okay. Now let's talk about community and friendship, right? Because obviously, if you're by yourself, moving to Thailand, then it can be a big difference from where you're right now. I suppose you still have like some of your old friends at home. Obviously, they're not going to be there with you in Thailand. Maybe you know some people already. I really highly recommend you hit them up and start connecting already. If you're actually watching this video and you're going to Thailand, I'll be there in September, October. Hit me up. Actually, DM me on IG. I would love to meet. Just DM me and we can set something up. But yeah, let's talk about this. Now, first and foremost, like remember that you're here to build, right? You're not here to like go party and like go to Khao San Road and like go meet like make friends with like tourists and stuff like that, because you're not going to go anywhere with that. You're here to like build your business, build your life, not to break it down and spend all your money, right? That's not the goal. So what I recommend in terms of the best places to meet good people, good high quality people, first and foremost is Muay Thai gyms, right? Like I have met potential clients at Muay Thai gyms. I've met people like business coaches at Muay Thai gyms. You'll just meet a ton of very interesting people at Muay Thai gyms, right? Because obviously, like not everyone is down to like fucking train really hard. So the people that you meet there are generally going to be higher quality. And obviously, a lot of other people are going to go there for visas, which are like in similar situations like you. So they may also be freelancers or like, yeah, they may also be freelancers, right? Another option is commercial gyms, although here you'll meet more locals, right? Because most people just go in their gym in their condo, right? They don't necessarily go to like a gym, um, the commercial gyms, right? So there you'll meet good locals as well. And obviously, personally, I am biased, right? But one big part of my social circle and community is the church, right? So if you're an Orthodox Christian by any chance, then I highly recommend going to like St. Nicholas Cathedral, um, because yeah, that's our church. So you can visit here. If you're not Orthodox and you're another type of Christian, or like you're a Muslim or whatever, then obviously you're not going to go here. But I do recommend going in that direction for to meet people, because this is a place where you'll meet good people, right? Good-hearted people, and obviously they're not always going to be rich and or like about business, but these are very very good people that you'll build lifelong relationships, and obviously is good for your soul, from my perspective. So yeah, I really recommend you go there. But yeah, I'm not really a fan of like going to bars and clubs and all these types of places, because the only people you're gonna find are dudes looking to get laid and just kind of like wasting their life away, or like going on a vacation for a week and just like banging hookers and stuff. So yeah, I don't recommend you doing that. So yeah, like I said, these are the options that I recommend. If you're completely solo, then genuinely feel free to DM me on IG, and I would love to meet. Because I imagine if you're watching this entire video, then you're pretty serious. So we'll probably get along quite well. So yeah, my IG will just be in the link in the description. Okay. And now let me talk about like the final mindset reminder again. And I've been saying this throughout this video, but Thailand is not a vacation, right? It's a mission. And you cannot forget that. And that is something that personally I did forget in the beginning. And it took me a while to get back on track, right? So remember your mission. Remember why you want to come to Thailand in the first place. Build your income, build your skills, build your network, and most importantly, build your character. Build who you are and who you're going to be for the future, right? For yourself, for your future wife, for your future kids, for your parents. Build yourself up, right? Make sure that you come to Thailand, and when you go back, that your parents are actually proud of you and happy that you made that decision, instead of like being like, what the fuck have you been doing there, right? So don't forget about that. Okay, right. And here are some bonus things that are just like good to know. The weather, there is a very very hot season in March and April. That's kind of where it's the hottest in the year, and it's kind of like a little bit unbearable. When you have been there for a while, you get used to it, but I don't recommend starting there unless you have no other option. But that is when it's super hot. May and June is typically like the raining season, so it's fine, right? Like it's not like you're gonna die, but it's just less fun, like transportation is like a little bit more sucky. Like if you're walking in the rain, like it's not that fun. um, Finding a cab is like a lot harder with rain as well. Sometimes your street will just be completely fucking filled with water. Not nice. So yeah, the best season is anywhere from like November to February, because it's like the winter, right? So actually in this period it's quite fresh, it's quite good temperature, perfectly for me. Like I love being in this season. Yeah, this is also just good to know. And also just to give you an exact cost breakdown of what you can expect when it comes to rent. You can literally expect anything between 200 to 600 euros, right? So if you want to be really really cheap, then it can be like somewhere around like 200 300 euros per month. um, but if you have like a higher budget, so if you're making more than 1,000 per month, stable, then you can go a little bit more expensive, right? No worries. But you can find very good places for quite cheap, right? So 300 euros and you can find good places. In terms of like electricity and water, you'll pay like for one person probably like 50 euros per month. When it comes to food, if you especially if you cook yourself, you can like literally come around with like 100 150 euros for one person, maybe 200 euros. But if you want to go eat outside, then maybe like 250 euros or something like that. Transportation would be probably like around 100 euros per month. The gym fee, it's like 50 euros per month. And everything else, it's like it's up to you, right? But I'll tell you this: massages cost like 10 euros, for an hour. And going to drinks on bars is like, it's so cheap, bro. It's so cheap. Like it's gonna cost almost nothing to you. The only thing that is expensive, and I'll say this especially for my Italians here, wine is quite expensive, right? So if you're used to like paying 5 euros per bottle, I'm sorry, but you're gonna like pay at least like 25 euros or something for a bottle of wine here. It's quite expensive. But other than that, everything is quite cheap. Okay. Um, Another thing that's good to know, probably for you guys, is co-working places and cafes. And like I said, I highly recommend that your condo or your lobby, the lobby of your condo, has a very good place to work or to have calls. But if you don't have that, or if you just want to like get outside and find some other place, personally I always go to True Digital. It's like at Punawiti. It's actually very close to my church, that's why I go there very often. But there's something called True Coffee, and it's like downstairs on the right side, and it's always closed. It's like a cafe, but it's never open. And what I do is I just go to the supermarket, I get like a drink for myself, and then I just go and sit there and I do my work, right? I just get like my protein drink or my like chocolate milk or whatever, and then I just sit there and work, right? But yeah, another option that I recommend doing is Don't look up the places on Google Maps because very often they're overrated. What I recommend you do is actually just go take a walk outside and just scout your area, because there's going to be a lot of good places just from walking outside, testing out places. There's going to be cheaper, and you're actually going to know if they're any good. Because if you go like quite long or quite far from like places on Google Maps, it just sucks, from my experience. Cool. Yeah, man, that's literally everything. I talked about so much stuff, but if you have any other questions, drop them down in the comments. If there's any, very specific thing about the visas that you want to know, I mean, you can drop a comment as well. Or if you want to connect and meet up, also like DM me on Instagram. And yeah, also if you've already lived in Thailand and you're watching this, then drop your best advice in the comments. Let's help the next guy do it better. But yeah, and also another last little plug. Again, if you are a freelancer and you want to find a community with other freelancers, like-minded people that are also like looking to get clients consistently, look up to build just a solid, meaningful life for yourself, plus getting consistent clients, then check out the community in the description. There's a 7-day trial. Again, you can just try it out, get all the value and just fucking leave. I have no problem with that. But just want to mention it because I do believe that it's extremely valuable and that it can genuinely help you. So if you do decide to join, then I'll see you inside. And if not, I'll catch you in the next video, right? Peace.